Awesome. We're live. We are live. So what's going on, people? My God, are you still breathing? Is the question. Are you still breathing? Because, dude, that's probably outside of the A&T game in 2018. That's probably the wildest finish I have ever seen in a FAMU game. I mean, from the opening drive, you started the game with a touchdown with Bishop Bonnet. You finished the game with an 80 yards through the heart of Huntsville with Bishop Bonnet. You knew he was due for one, the way he kept popping out of those holes. And he finished it. He called game. And then Javon Morgan called game right after that, too, with that game-sealing interception on a kill glass. So with that well with all, just in fact, that ends whatever hope Alabama A&M had it repeating as conference champions. Alabama A&M is officially, I'd say, eliminated from the conference race. And if you ask me, that leaves two teams at the top. And we're still watching one. It's 21-7 in Jackson, Mississippi right now with Jackson State and Alabama State. But what a win. My God. And also, too, remember, if you do want to comment, I don't know why, but for some odd reason, the comments are not working on Twitter. So if you are watching and you want to comment, head on over to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe to this, and then comment for interaction. But yeah, we're going to talk about this 35-21 come from behind victory by FAMU. Hell of a comeback. Good teams find ways to do that. We're going to talk about that next. The intro's next, so don't go anywhere. And we're back. So one thing before I do get started, I just found this to be just so funny. It tickled me. It really did. It tickled my fancy. So I don't know if how many of you guys are good at reaching back and finding old tweets and stuff, but this one from that we posted from July 15th, 2021. I said the best wide receiver in HBC football, you ask? Xavier Smith, of course. And the funny thing about this is there's such an uproar by a certain wide receiving group that didn't like it. And the beauty of it is this is why it's settled on the field. I love when tweets age like fine wine. I really do. I should have really taken this to Old Takes Exposed. But then again, I guess I would have got called out too, but they would have got, I don't know. But in the end, the receiving yards comparison is very telling. Because what did we learn today? Or what did we see today? Receiving yards comparison. Outlaws, 199. Rack Boys, 251. That tells you what you need to know right there. That tells you everything. I can go deeper. I can really go deeper. Trust me. Look, Zabrian Moore, 3 catches, 42 yards. Let's go deeper. Chad Hunter, 5 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. He had more than them. The one that was talking the most trash. Jamari Shareed, 6 receptions, 53 yards, 1 TD. Not a bad day's work. Both guys, pretty good day. Both guys contributed to a huge game-winning type day. Huge. Rashawn McKay showed grit today. This was his most. I don't want to say bet. Well, this was finally a game where they let him air it out, and he delivered. And you love to see that, because 21 of 34, 251, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yes, he finally threw an interception. Look, not even Tom Brady's perfect. Johnny Unitas wasn't perfect. Bart Starr wasn't perfect. Nobody is perfect when they play quarterback. The interceptions are going to come. This is what people tried to tell arrogant folks about Jameis Winston, which is the truth. The interceptions are going to come when you play quarterback. Just don't have too many of them. And for the fact that we're 6 games in and he's only gotten 1 interception on the season is quite telling. I'm proud of the way that McKay fought. Yes, I am too. I really am. Because the thing about it, and here's the thing, when you have a deficit like that, you faced a 26 or no, yeah, you were down a significant amount today. I'm trying to remember that deficit though. But it was about 28-16. It was 28-16 at one point. It was 28-10 really. And at that point, according to the ESPN Football Power Index, Alabama A&M had a 92.7% chance of winning. And then that immediately switched just like that. And it immediately starts to trend back upward as FAMU starts climbing out of that hole. And quite honestly, when you get in a jam like that, you want to see what your starting quarterback is made of. And the starting quarterback delivered. I figured to myself, I was like, well, you know what? I wouldn't say bench him yet, but I want to see what he's made of. How do you handle controversy? How do you handle playing from behind? And he never went in the foxhole. He stood in the pocket and he delivered. They have a good quarterback. Folks, they have a good quarterback. He will get better. You already see it. Because the fact of the matter, this is his first year starting. He didn't play a good game down in Miami, got benched. Probably got ripped a new one in film after the first game of the season. Stayed true, worked his way back into the starting lineup. Has played exceptionally well being a game manager. Then they finally cut him loose today, and they get the perfect blend of running and passing, and he does this. That's fantastic. That's what you want to see. And you're going to continue to see growth as the season progresses. By the way, this is the most points FAMU has scored all season long, too, by the way. 35 points is a new season high. So that's amazing. By the way, that was a win that builds character. They never gave up and kept fighting and made the game-winning plays. Yes, because that's very true. Because look, in years past, prior to Willie Simmons getting here, this team would have just folded. They would have folded, gone in the foxhole, and said, "Well, maybe next week next week will be our week." But the mental makeup of it, and the mental toughness, and the ability to stay focused and locked in and not crack under pressure, because I'm gonna be honest, that was probably the worst first half I'd ever seen them play in all of Willie Simmons' time at FAMU. Well, I wouldn't say in the last 2 seasons. I would say that was the worst first half I've seen. Got another one. Let's see here. McKay looks extra comfortable throwing deep. He doesn't have the touch on his short to intermediate pass. Yeah, no, he doesn't have them. He doesn't have them yet. But I think that, which is it's kind of odd, because I mean, you look at little kids even too that do that. They throw the deep ball amazing, but then they can't throw intermediate and short passes. But I think that will come with time, because I mean, it is his first season as a starter, and I'd say give it time. It will come. I don't know if it'll come this season, but it will come because I see him trying to fit the ball in those tight windows, and he's putting it there where he wants it to be, and he's leading his receivers. But sometimes he's just off by like a centimeter or so, and that comes like again with time. The other thing too, Bishop Bonnet nearly went for almost 200 yards and should have had 2 TDs. The final score in this really should have been 40, 42 or 41, 42 to 31, if we're being honest. The referee stole that last touchdown from him. Bishop Bonnet, 187 yards, 17 carries. He averaged 11 yards a carry. Both him and Jennings. Jennings almost had 100 yards with 82 yards on 19 carries. Both constantly fell forward, and you love to see it. That 1-2 punch is amazing. Hopefully, Jalen McLeod can get worked back in soon at some point. But both guys had a TD apiece. Like I said, 80 yards through the heart of Huntsville. No quit in this team. This is a good football team. Good teams find ways to win games like that. And you saw a lot of heart from the wide receiving core. Xavier Smith wasn't having a good day. David Manigo was having an day. Chad Hunter comes back after being out for a couple of weeks off of an injury. He makes a play, a huge play, a Houdini-like play, where I still don't understand how that doesn't happen every day. If that play is not on ESPN tonight, there's something wrong. And if that play is not on, I guess you could put it on You Got Mossed, maybe. But if it's not, there's a problem, because that was insane how he caught that. I'm surprised the way the referees were calling this game, they didn't rule it an incomplete pass, to be honest with you, because that was insane. That was just, oh my goodness. But I'm happy. I'm gonna be honest with you. My heart almost stopped at one point. But once I saw Bishop Bonnet break free, I was good. I was like, oh, ice this one away. But also too, you look at Akil Glass's numbers. He was not good either at the halfway point, and even to finish this game. 16 to 36 to finish the game, 199 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 crucial interception. And you can only say, Alabama A&M's hopes and dreams of competing and repeating as SWAC champs has definitely been eliminated. It's been buried. It's done. It's over. Sayonara. And he was 5 of 17 at the half, which honestly, I was looking at it. I was like, he's a pro prospect. He's got a chance to be good if he continues to work. I think he needs a QB coach that's going to help take him over the top when his time at Alabama A&M is done. Because I see everyone sees the potential, of course. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a pro prospect like that. But I do think that he needs to take another step forward and get added attention from guys that have been in the NFL, like Carson Palmer and Jordan Palmer, who have that experience that with helping quarterbacks train to get to the next level. So I think that would be next for him, because honestly, I mean, once it got to a certain point, FAMU's defense figured him out. He played a good defense today, and that defensive staff, kudos to them. When it mattered most, they got the job done. And, a lot of people are going to say, well, hey, you gave up this many points. You gave up 31 points. That's the most you've given up to a SWAC opponent. At some point, you just don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. In the heat of the battle, you just don't care. You won the game. But at the same time, too, the officials did suck today. They did suck. The officials sucked today. And it was very, very telling. I was surprised that they didn't rule the play where Jennings was down. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. You come back from a 28-10 deficit like that, you can't question that this team's heart. We've seen them do it now, so now the fight is within them. The fight is there. They're not going to bow out. Gave up only 24 and less than 300 total yards. So, oh yeah, yeah, yes, exactly. That's that's my thing. Like you gave up 296 total yards. Their running backs, I mean, outside Garrett Quarles, he had himself a day, but outside of him, they didn't really do much. And when you actually look at it, they were hitting him. They were hitting him at certain points. He wasn't there. He may get through every now and again because he's so tiny, but he wasn't getting through every time. And then Akil Glass rushing, he had negative 18 yards on 6 attempts. He averaged going backwards 9, no, 3. He averaged going backwards 3 yards. So, I mean, defense was solid, contrary to the score. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if you look at it in the second half, I was trying to find some silver lining, but in the second half, they gave up 17 points. But in the end, I mean, like, hey, I'm like you guys. I'll take it. I'm happy about it. I loved it. The one thing that you do have to clean up though is definitely the penalties. Because what were the penalties? My goodness, if I could find it in here. Penalties were 11 penalties for 183 yards. That's not something that you're proud of. That has to stop. It has to stop going forward. Yes. Yes, because when you go on the road to Baton Rouge, when you go to Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I'm not really so worried about going to Ida Bena next week, but I mean, you never want to count an opponent out. Although I personally view Mississippi Valley the same way I viewed Delaware State when they weren't winning, but everyone's got their opinions about that. But when you go on the road and stuff, you can't do stuff like that. Like if Jamari Shareed doesn't have his unsportsmanlike penalty at the end of after his touchdown, who knows what happens on that 2-point conversion? You probably get it, and you're probably sitting pretty with a lead. But and you don't have to go for it from such a far out distance. And also too, kudos to Willie Simmons for. Yeah, thank you. But also, yeah, kudos to Willie Simmons because honestly, that he sat there with all 3 timeouts at one point where Bonnet scores on that 80-yard touchdown run. He's sitting pretty with all 3 times. Mississippi Valley is just like Del State, hard to travel to, not the best. I've heard honestly it looks to me, and this was a while ago. I was watching a game on ESPN that had Mississippi Valley on there, and I was looking at the campus, and it reminded me. I hate to downplay a school like this, but it did look like a high school. I shouldn't say that, and I hate to say that, but that's just what I saw. But like I said, I hate to downplay someone like that, but that's the truth. But yeah, kudos to Willie Simmons. They had all 3 timeouts in their back pocket still at the time when Bishop Bonnet ran for 80 yards to score and finish that game off. It was perfect clock management because you can honestly tell he was ready for anything that might have came. Coach Maynard was the one calling timeouts early, trying to think, oh my gosh, what should I do? What do we do here? Maybe if we get them to jump off sides here on this 4th and 6, maybe we can get a first down and ice it. But thankfully, it didn't work out that way. Honestly, I'm still confident at some point this season we'll see Jamari Shareed break a kickoff return either a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown. I'm confident that we'll see it at some point. If punters continue to outkick their coverage, Jamari Shareed will get loose for one. He will. Honestly, the 3rd down efficiency, though, too, has to get better. 3 of 13, not a good day. Alabama A&M was 2 of 16. So, I mean, it was, not perfect. They were 50% on 4th down conversions. Alabama A&M was 3 of 3. They were 100%. efficient. Kudos to them. Um, but my goodness. Also too, time of possession. Alabama A&M had the ball like a minute, about a minute, almost 2 minutes longer than FAMU. 25 first downs by FAMU to 13 for Alabama A&M. And I mean, and the numbers still held true. If you looked at a lot of the numbers too, towards Coach Simpson, the rest of the yeah. Oh, I know. I would say on it. I mean, I know you can't say it in college football, but I mean in pro football, usually, I mean on the plane rides back home, you just like Aaron Rodgers says, get a nice cup of scotch and then just relax on the way back home. But I don't know if that'll be happening, but definitely just kick your legs back, close your eyes and relax and just think about what's to come on that ride home and enjoy the victory. So I'm definitely with you. I know I would be sleeping good because I mean, hey, it's like the announcer said, fam, you came 400 miles from Tallahassee to play a football game. And in my mind, I'm looking at it like this: you didn't come 400 miles for nothing. You did not come 400 miles for nothing. You came for a reason. You had to be a road warrior. You went on the road and you got the job done, and that's all you can ask. But also, in one other thing too, kudos to those young freshmen that stepped up in this game and came in key moments. I believe the freshman, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, number 84. I can't remember his name, and also number 83. But those two kids, they came in at key moments. They tried, and one did make a play to keep the chains going. And that's all you can ask. The more you get game reps for young guys in a big crucial game like that, because honestly, I'm telling you, that game that was a physical football game. I don't know who if y'all noticed it or not, but oh, ooh. Oh, I missed this comment. I had to pop this one back up. Good win over out. Yes, yes, yes. That is so true. I don't understand why the officiating was. Well, I do. When you play a game on the road, that type of stuff happens. But you kind of saw it unfolding when you watched FAMU against Alabama State and when you watched FAMU play against South Carolina State. There were some questionable calls that they took away. So like I said, it's only going to get worse. So you got to work on the discipline because, like I said, that trip to Baton Rouge is still looming in November, and it's going to be cold. It's going to be at night. I don't know how Southern gets down, but if it's anything like LSU in night games in Tiger Stadium, it's going to probably be the same environment, maybe a little bit more hostile, and you can probably smell the gumbo and the crawfish outside the stadium. So you got to work on that discipline. You have to. Who deserves a game ball in this one? Quite honestly, if you ask me, Rashawn McKay deserves a game ball. Bishop Bonnet deserves a game ball. Javon Morgan deserves a game ball. And did I say Chad Hunter? Chad Hunter deserves a game ball. So yeah, Chad Hunter, Rashawn McKay, Bishop Bonnet, Javon Morgan. All those guys deserve game balls in this one because that was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that's tough. Yeah. So right now, looking at the SWAC standings, FAMU still one game behind. McKay earned my respect. Yeah, he did. Oh, well, yeah. Kid has heart. Yes. We learned a lot about Rashawn McKay today. We really did. Because I mean, at one point, I'm looking at this and I'm just sitting there like, my God, I don't know if he can do this. I just didn't know. Because I was like, maybe he'll grow into it. Maybe this year's not the year for him to do it, but you got to grow up at some point. Your predecessor did it. Now you've done it. You're showing growth week by week. So now we know, everybody now knows Rashawn McKay can deliver in key moments. And it's not just coming in off the bench for Hail Marys anymore. He can deliver in a pinch. He really can. But also, too, yeah, the SWAC standings. So FAMU sitting pretty. 4-2 overall now. 2-1 in the conference. I said the same thing, but he kept fighting. Yes. I agree. Short-term memory. Yes. And honestly, too, now that you mentioned short-term memory, that interception was not really his fault. I see. God, now you got me speaking as if this were Jameis playing for the Bucs. Savion Williams, but yes, he did. Savion Williams made his presence felt today because, and it's like I said before the game started, teams were going to come and start preparing for Isaiah Land because of such a great product that he put on film. He whipped the daylights out of that tackle from Alabama State. He whipped the daylights out of the tackle from South Carolina State all game long. So you knew, honestly, at some point, somebody had to see the film and say, all right, we got to put this to bed. We got to start putting a running back over there to chip him. So while that was happening, and there's going to be days like this. There's going to be days like that. That's the beauty of film study. People are going to start adjusting to you. So it's up to you now as a player to adjust your game and find other techniques of how to get around those double teams. And honestly, in his case, probably some triple teams, because they're going to start putting an extra tackle. Although in college football, you don't really see it a lot, that tackle over like you do in the NFL sometimes when tackles report is eligible. And they're going to start putting running backs over there to chip him, and tight ends. Or they're going to probably run a running back out, chip him and release on a route. So, which is probably likely, I'm sure, what Quarles did if you go back and watch the film, because the film will be up on YouTube probably here in a few hours or in a few days. So that's what happens. So thankfully, Deontay Williams, the transfer out of Florida State / Baylor, and Savion Williams, the Tennessee transfer, were able to step up. And that's what you want to see in your pass rush. When somebody's not having a good day, someone else steps up. And even too, huge congrats to Gentle Hunt. He played a hell of a game in that second half. He played a hell of a game. He really did. Once he started creating pressure and getting through, everyone started getting through. And honestly, too, even Isaiah Land, he didn't get sacks, but he created pressure. He moved Akil Glass off of his mark. And that's really all you need to do sometimes. Just move the quarterback off his mark. Just move him off his mark, make him uncomfortable, create pressure, create havoc. It'll take care of itself. And that's what happened eventually. And the pressure busts the pipe, and FAMU got their 16th consecutive game with a turnover. So that's how it happens. But yeah, kudos to Savion Williams. I mean, dude, it's tough to really say who single-handedly deserves to be player of the game in this one. It's really hard. That's why I say, give all these guys game balls and stuff. But you look at the SWAC standings. FAMU's now 4-2. Alabama State's 3-2, likely going to lose. I don't know if they lost already or not, but they likely will lose. And Jackson State and FAMU currently still sit atop the SWAC standings. In the West, Prairie View still top dog. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when Prairie View plays Alcorn State. Bethune did, in fact, lose today as well. They lost, I believe it was 35-29. So it's really and then even to Mississippi Valley, they've been fighting. So when FAMU takes that road trip to Itta Bena next week, we'll see what happens. Either they'll be celebrating a win or an upset win over Alcorn, and we'll have something to talk about, or we'll be going to Itta Bena thinking probably have a victory, which you shouldn't do going on the road. Don't go on the road thinking that that's going to be an easy win. You still have to go out there and execute. But as you saw today in Alabama, it was cold. And that's what you see now that you get to October. Certain parts of the country are starting to get colder and colder. So it's going to be cold in Itta Bena. It's probably likely going to be cold, too, when you come back to Tallahassee for homecoming. So honestly, for those of you that are going to homecoming, dress appropriately. Don't don't think just because it's homecoming, I'm gonna put on my best outfit that exposes the most stuff, and I'm gonna go out and go party and watch Moneybag Yo and whatever the heck his name is. I mean, but that's another story for another time. But honestly, folks, that's gonna do it for me here. I hope you've enjoyed this again. My God, in heart-stopping fashion, in a thriller. Honestly, heck, 80 yards through the heart of Huntsville, as I'm going to start calling it. FAMU wins 35-31 over Alabama A&M. Heart-stopping. My God. If you haven't already, follow us on Facebook, on all of our social media platforms. Follow us on Facebook at Penalty Talk, Instagram at Throw Flags. The Running Gun podcast will be out Wednesday night. The Last Give podcast with Flash and Ace will be up Tuesday night at 8. So you guys make sure y'all tune in for that and watch that as well. We got a lot of good content for y'all. We're going to be reacting to this game. We're going to be reacting to all these other games that have happened. We're going to be reacting to NHL if you're into NHL, NBA, the NFL games tomorrow. We're going to be reacting to all of it on Tuesday and Wednesday night. So make sure you. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. We try. Thank you. Thank you so much. We try. Make sure y'all tune into the Running Gun podcast and Last Give Tuesday, Wednesday night at 8:00. But as always, too, and of course, we're not too hard to find on Twitter. Find us on Twitter at Penalty Talk. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this video. Let's get the viewers up. And also 2 emails, flagontheplaysports@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We'll be back doing this again next week from whatever. I don't know what time yet that game in Itabena is. So we'll be doing it next week too on Saturday prior to kickoff and after the game. So most definitely, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all go enjoy the victory. Don't party too hard. We'll see you on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday night and Saturday night. So, yeah, take care. God bless.